Hello and welcome to this first in a series of tutorials on Google Sites. Now before we get started, I want to make you aware that what we're going to be viewing is the Google Sites that have been around for quite a few years. You should know that Sites is currently being redeveloped and is being tested by a limited number of people. We don't have access to that now, but there will be some changes in the way you do things and the way that it looks when this is released to the general audience in the near future. Okay, let's get started. To begin with, you have to go to Google Sites. Now you can find it through your Google Apps icon, which you would find on any Google site. You know, it's this box of 9 boxes, or you can simply go to sites.google.com. Now I'm already logged into Google, so it's showing me some existing sites that I have under this account. Let's take a quick tour of the environment and see how we create a site from scratch. To begin with, you've got your normal icons in the upper right when you log into Google, so your ability to log out, your notifications, and your ability to move between the different apps that Google makes available to you. We have under the gear 2 options, user settings and sites help. So these are general settings that will apply to all of your sites. So if we go to sites help, the nice thing is that it's focused just on Google Sites. So not that you can't find this information through a Google search, but this is nicely organized for you. And at the bottom you have 2 additional options. The first would be to browse all articles, and this just brings you to a page where all of the help articles that Google is providing, the help center that Google is providing for sites, are all organized in one place, and the other is to visit the forum. And the forum is a place where people can post questions, help each other, complaints, suggestions to Google, etc. So both can be useful. The other option under the gear is user settings. Now in this area you can set a default language if you choose. You can set a time zone, and you decide whether you want to be notified of your own changes. So is it going to email you when you yourself make changes to your site? And if you don't want that, you simply uncheck it. And do you want to enable keyboard shortcuts? And that's just slightly quicker ways to move around the Google Sites environment, and you can enable or disable them. So simply save to get your settings changed. Next, in the center screen, in the main content area, will be a list of any sites that you have created or that have been shared with you. So this will be your dashboard for visiting the different sites that you create in Google Sites. The left screen is where all the action happens, so you can switch between My Sites, which I'm looking at now, or Deleted Sites. Now, I don't have any deleted sites at present because any sites that were deleted more than 30 days ago are permanently removed, and I no longer have access to them to get them back. Okay, so if you are going to delete a site, know that you have 30 days to change your mind, and after that you're going to lose that option. Okay, let's get to the fun part. So here's how you create a site. You simply hit the Create button, and you have several options for templates. One is a blank template, and I very often start with that. However, if you'd like to use a different template that's been provided, there's a classroom site over here. Here's one for a soccer team, and you can see, and there's also a gallery. So if you click gallery, you're going to get lots and lots of different templates that various people have created and made available through here. Now, right now, you're going to default to the featured templates, are the one that Google thinks are the best or that you should see. But you can also sort by business, activities and events, school and education, etc. So lots of different ways. So if I click this, this would be my default template that I would be working with. Now I can still make changes to that template once I create it, but it acts as a starting point. So I'm going to actually cancel out of there, and let's start very simply with a blank template. We're going to have to give it a name. So think of a name for your site. Now, it's going to use the text that you put in there, and it's going to create a version of that without spaces. So it's going to strip out certain characters to create a version of that, because it's best in your URL if you don't have spaces. Okay, also it gives you an option to get a custom domain name. So if Google Sites was something, or a particular site was something that you really wanted polished and needed to have its own unique name, then you can visit Google Domains here. And I opened that in a new tab, and you can see that from $12 a year you can pick a name, provided no one else already has that name. Okay, you also have the option down here to select a theme. I'm not going to do that because I can do it at any time. I can do it later if I choose. And there are some more options here, and basically this is for a site description, which is not a bad idea. So this site okay, so you type your description in there. You have to check the box that says you're not a robot. It's to prevent web bots from just creating site after site after site. And I'm going to hit create. It may take a few minutes. It may spin for a minute or two before it creates the site. But once it's complete, the site will just appear. Now, if I were to go back to this root level here, sites.google.com, you're going to see Tools Sample Site is now amongst the list, and it has the description. If you wanted someone else to be able to visit your site, and we'll talk about permissions in a future video or how to share it, but this is the address, so simply sending someone this address directly would allow them to access the site, provided the permissions are set to do so. Now before we complete, I'd like to just say a few things about Google Sites. One is that it's a relatively simple tool. So you may find that the layout or the graphics are not as sophisticated as you'd like. We expect to some degree this to be addressed with a newer version. As I said, that will be coming out shortly. But why use something like Google Sites? And to me, the simple reason is it's free, it's extremely easy, and it allows me to get my content up on the web. I have a number of sites that I use regularly. Several of them are just for my own personal note-taking, organization, things like that. So they're not shared with anybody, but I have these things in a web space that I can get to very easily from anywhere, and that's very, very helpful. Another reason you might want to use a Google site is if you have a particular project that you're working on with a team. It provides a great space to collaborate. And people may ask, why don't I just share those documents through Google Drive? And the truth is you can do that, and as you get better with sharing and using folders, etc., that's an efficient way to work. But Google Sites gives you a particularly nice organizational structure. It can act as a repository to document things. It can act as a workspace to share and edit your Google Docs or other resources. So let's move on and see how to operate in this environment and the options that are available to you.